In games, so much has to go right for it to go through. And I think that is why it's so impressive that you hit from 66. That has to be a pure, perfect stroke. And the ability to adjust and have the little kickoff step on there, it's unbelievable what you did out there, dude. Legit.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you saying all that, man. And like, it's cool to hear somebody else dive into the nuance of how to get a ball to travel as far as we were able to. And I emphasize we, like Nick Moore, by the way, his first game-winning field goal snap.
Hey, here we go, Nick. Here we go, Nick.
Perfect strike. 12 o'clock laces. Sam Cooke is Sam Cooke. He
the go.
Just nails as always. And then, we joke about it, but the ball can just sit up there for forever, and the ball could kick itself. Now, when you're 66 yards away, you got to find a little bit. You got to dig a little bit deeper to find just a little bit something to get the ball to go. Like the kickoff approach, or the modified kickoff approach with the swing where I land on my kicking foot and not my plant with the skip that a lot of you see a lot of kickers execute.
All of them.
That's something that has kind of been in the back of my mind for a little over a year. I was just messing around on field 3 in practice, on like a cooler day, maybe like last year, and when the weather starts to shift and it starts getting colder, the ball just simply doesn't go as far. It's less elastic. The air is just different. So finding a way to get the ball to go when you absolutely need to, like for example, at the end of a game, down by 2, you got to have it, and you're 66, 67, however many yards away. It's kind of a toss-up between are you going to throw a ball into the end zone, or are you going to let me just lay away into one? And if I'm being sent out there, it's for the express reason of making the kick. Like, it's because they believe I can do it. Even if I don't know if I can do it myself, I just have to convince myself that I'm going to get this ball there one way or another, and
it's going to make it,
or at least give it a chance. And that's exactly what we did the other week in Detroit.
Man, that's awesome to hear the little nuances behind it, because you had that little skip step in there. And then last week you were in Denver, and everybody's excited to go to Denver if you kick balls. I mean, let alone if you're coming fresh off of a longest NFL kick in history or whatever. I mean, you probably feel pretty good going in there. I think they had video of you going from 72 or 70 or something like that. How was the interaction with McManus? How was the interaction with McManus in warm-ups?
Oh, it's cool, man. Brandon's a good dude. He's an excellent kicker. To get to slap hands with the guy and just kind of share a moment in pregame. He offered his congratulations for what we were able to do the previous week, and I just said to him, "Listen, man, it could have been any of us. Like there's a handful of guys out there that have the ability to launch the ball, and sometimes it is right place, right time. Like you said a little bit ago, everything kind of just has to line up perfectly. The stars have to align, so to speak. So, I already mentioned Nick Moore threw back a perfect snap. Everybody up front just held it together for a little bit longer than they normally would have to. So we got that ball off in 1.4 seconds as opposed to our usual 1.3-ish. Sam puts down a perfect spot, and then I'm just able to lay away into the ball. But there are a handful of guys that have the ability to make a kick from that distance. It's just a matter of I happen to be in the right place, right time, and I found a little bit of divine intervention somewhere in there to just get that ball to go. But Brandon and I had a nice moment just talking about it before the game.
McManus is a big ball hitter, and everybody says, well, he's a big ball hitter because he's in Denver. It's like, no, that dude's a big ball hitter no matter where.
No, he can just crush the ball.
Yeah, he can fucking slaughter the ball, So, and I know there's a lot of guys that have those, big balls that they say, like, I wish I had the opportunity to get one. I wish I had the opportunity to get one. I got a 64-yard opportunity in preseason, fourth quarter to end it. Hadn't kicked a field goal yet all training camp.
I got to watch that one live in person. That was against the Baltimore Ravens at Indianapolis. I remember that.
I didn't. I tried to not remember it. I tried to not remember it because knew I was not like I'm never going to get that opportunity again, you know. And I was so angry about it. And that's like it was a preseason game, so watching you go out and execute in the biggest moment, in the biggest opportunity, like is cool. And that leads me to this next question, right? And it's nice that you have acknowledged that other people could hit from there. And I think Vinatieri has said like there's a lot of kickers that could have made the kicks that I have made or whatever, you know, the conference championship games, the Super Bowl games, but he just so happened to have those opportunities and he came through on them, right? Like that's the thing. Like everybody could make those kicks. Will you when the time comes? Maybe, but when you get your opportunity, do you go through it? Do you listen to the GOAT talk between you and Adam Vinatieri? Because the shit in the resume that you're putting together, if I was you, it'd be hard not to be like, yeah, I'm the fucking guy. But I think we all have a massive amount of respect for Vinatieri. I know I do. But do you hear that stuff? Do you even get involved in those conversations? And have you talked to Adam Vinatieri much?
I mean, sure, you hear it. You're somewhat aware. But I also don't really care. Like, I'm along for the ride, man. I'm trying to be present. I'm trying to enjoy each and every moment with my teammates, with my friends, with my coaches. Oh, yeah, I like that. And then...
Be here now, yeah.
There's that's for everybody else out there to concern themselves with. I don't really care. What I will say is that Vin has the greatest resume. He had the greatest career that any specialist has ever had. And like you mentioned, like anybody could have made those massive kicks that he made time and time again. How many guys out there have the ability to just the ability to do it? Yeah. Many. But there are a very select few people that are blessed with the mind that that Adam has, and I'd like to think I have that as well. But it's also something that isn't just I don't know. It's not just some God-given gift. It's something that you do have to work at, and and it's something you have to embrace. I don't know if I'm making sense at this point.
No,
but
you are. Yeah,
it's just the guy is so accomplished for the reason for so many reasons. The biggest ones are he's an amazing athlete, and what's between his ears is absolutely special.
Justin, isn't that something that I think has only really recently come into full conversation? Because you and I mean, you longer than me, obviously 10 years in the NFL, also in college at Texas. You see a lot of guys that could be great football players. Like, oh my God, fast and everybody, great hands. For whatever reason, in between their ears, they just couldn't figure it out. The brain separates the average from good and the good from the great and then the great from the elite. And there's just levels to that thing. And what you're referring to is something that I've talked about is whenever we went out for a game winner or a big kick with Adam Vinatieri, the first time I went out there, I remember it like it was yesterday, because normally I would be the one trying to keep it loose. I'm just the caddy out there. Hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and do this thing. Let's keep it moving. We went out there for like a game tie or a game winner. I forget what it was. And I was like, all right, old man, you fucking ready to go or whatever? And I look at him and it was literally just as if his soul had left his body. I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, oh my God. And I like looked back and he wasn't even there. Ball goes through. And it wasn't until like the fist pump that he even realized, I think, that he was in society still. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was checked out that entire time. But that ability to flip the switch and focus in, I think it was very, like, I just learned something that you do have to continue to work on that and continue to evolve on that. Have you always had that? Because I wanted to ask you earlier, like, do you not have any feelings, emotions? Like, is that just something you can go into? How do you separate the moment? Because I'm not going to say it because there's like, you don't want to talk to somebody in the middle of a perfect game, but your whole career's been a fucking perfect game, basically. Your record in fourth quarters right now is stupid, and especially in the last minute. Is that flip of a switch always every kick, or is there something different about those?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, to be perfectly honest, there is a different feeling, a different vibe between a PAT in the first quarter and then a walk-off winner in the fourth. And you mentioned emotions and feelings and thoughts. I don't think that it's quite that you have to compartmentalize or ignore them and then put them away. I think it's more important to embrace and acknowledge that you're feeling any which way, whether it's confident, nervous, excited, thankful for the opportunity, or even outright scared. And I've said this before, it's always about focusing on the action and not the consequence. It's always about seeing the ball come off my foot, seeing the snap, picking out the dimples on the back of the ball, the back seam of the ball with my eyes, that I'm going to match up that big bone coming from my big toe, how I'm going to match that up to that sweet spot on the ball to send it end over end through the uprights. And then after the fact, I'll allow myself to enjoy the moment. But while you're actually kicking the ball, that 1.3 seconds between the snap of the hold and the kick, and then, the several seconds leading up to it, you can feel any which way, but your feelings don't matter unless you let them negatively. I just have, been working on, that's been part of, I would say, my evolution from, from being a decent kicker in college to a good kicker early in my career to, as consistent as we are now. I think the difference lies in, like every little detail. And, we talk about all the technical stuff that happens, on the field and with your body athletically, but then there's also, I think Brandon McManus even said it last week, or somewhat.
Oh no, McManus.
Oh, no.
McManus.
It's 90% mental, and then the other 10% is mental.
We actually got it. You broke up a little bit, then we heard the quote. 90% of it's mental, and then the other 10% of it's mental as well.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh, can we do something about the Wi-Fi?
No, well, they got too many fake lockers around there. You know what I mean? It's hurting the conversation, but